In sports, the busiest teams are often the ones not winning. Training schedules are packed, meetings stacked. From the outside, it looks serious, professional, high effort, but then you check the scoreboard. Same mistakes, same second half fades, same excuses about injuries and timing. At some point, being busy stops meaning you are working hard. It starts meaning you are running drills instead of playing the game, and everyone involved knows the difference. They just agreed not to say it out loud. Andrew, what happens when success is totally dependent on you and nobody else?
That should be celebrated. Why would you not want your own results to come from your own effort? If you're given something without your hard work, it doesn't feel the same.
But at the same time, I would say that it's better if you're involving other people.
None of us are self-made. Arnold Schwarzenegger has this famous quip about not being self-made because there was people helping him along every part of the journey. There's mentors, there's friends, there's coaches, there's co-stars or co-workers, and you've got to put yourself in the right seat with the right work ethic for things to happen, for magic to happen. Ultimately, if you stop trying or if you don't try hard enough, somebody else is going to take your seat.
How do you control ego in this? Because in some cases, Arnold's ego was out the gate when he was Mr. Universe, but man, he delivered. Muhammad Ali the same. But in this country, ego is, we've got to be more like Richie McCaw.
Yeah, and to say that Richie didn't have ego, of course he did. He wanted to be the captain of the All Blacks. And a little bit of ego is healthy. What's wrong with wanting to be a high achiever? What's wrong with wanting to be...
We're not wired like that in New Zealand. We aren't. We prefer our All Blacks to just score a try and not do a high five. We do. You don't think?
I don't mind seeing a little bit of sportsmanship and a little bit of celebration because of how much work has gone into achieve the thing. And ego is what pushes us along. We all want a bit of status. We all want influence. Without the trophy of having some power, we wouldn't put in the extra effort. And power might be in the family. Power might be in the family or the church group or the work group. Most of us have a little bit of desire to have some power or control. And if we don't, we certainly want somebody else strong to be in that position. So if you don't want to be number one, that's fine. But being a strong number two or number three is wholly desirable for a lot of people too.
Yeah, okay. Let's stick on the ego thing for just a second, because if success comes down just to you, you have to have a massive ego. I think you have to, because otherwise how else would you succeed?
Yeah, a strong ego allows you to have the right amount of delusion that's required to push past the natural deficiencies you have when you're beginning. So let's say you're going from, you're 20 years old, you want to play Premier grade rugby. Maybe you're actually not good enough to be in that Premier team, but you have to at some stage make that leap, and then you will level up while you're playing. And your success relies on the trust and the skills of the other people around you, but also relies on you putting yourself in that right position at the right time. You have to level up, and sometimes level up faster, put yourself in positions where maybe you're not ready, because you will evolve faster, and your ego sometimes pushes you to be in situations where you shouldn't be based on paper, your stats, but you can level up faster and things can go your way if you do it.
I think ego is fabulous. I think in the world that I've been in, you've got to have an ego to succeed in broadcasting. There's no shrinking violet. But if you're a competitive person, and clearly I was involved in boxing as well, and we had some real ego-driven people up against us, the motivation to bring someone down with an ego propels you to success. You can spin it both ways, but either way you can work it in your favor.
Yeah, and as you get further up the chain of success, the egos are bigger and stronger. And in a win-lose situation, like a boxing match, somebody's ego is going to get damaged massively. And if you want to put yourself in games where there is a winner and loser, then you have to accept that your ego is going to get hit sometimes. If you're in the business game and you're in industries and you're growing, you actually don't necessarily have to ever come into a situation where it's win-lose. Playing the business game, it can be win-win for a very long time.
Sure, okay, look at Trump. Ego definitely there, but he's got no stabilizing influences around him to guardrail him.
Well, and that's part of his ego protection strategy, is to have sycophants around him at all times.
There are lots of people who have got sycophants, right? And I don't understand it.
Because his status and power is so high, he is enabled to position his group in a way that is ego protected. And because his ego probably is quite fragile, he's reliant. He's always structuring his circles in a way where he isn't going to get challenged.
But he is challenged in the sense that, what's happened in Minneapolis and the like. He is challenged. I think his ego, let's not talk so much about Trump. The fact is, there's got to be some way that you guard yourself on surrounding yourself with yes men. We see it in business all the time. There's got to be a way to do it. Otherwise, your ego is out of control.
Yeah. In a work environment or family environment, sometimes you are surrounded by a lot of people that are going to agree with you, or they just simply don't understand, so they can't have challenging opinions. And that's where you seek out guidance from mentors or from people that are going to be, they're going to take a natural position against you, and you have to get someone to strawman you. You can invite that negativity into your life to help find out what your blind spots are, so that you can build up stronger if you're mature enough to handle it.
Why would you not want to hear someone speak up against you when clearly?
Because it's true. If you've got a weakness or a negative trait and you don't want to hear that, you don't want to hear about it, there will be an element of truth about it.
But there's the goal, if you're all going for the same goal of whatever it is, getting to the top of Mount Olympus, and some person speaks up, surely that should be those are the kind of people you want in your team rather than sycophants, aren't they? There's a difference between someone being negative all the time, but...
Yeah, and this is actually if you have a strong enough ego to accept negative feedback, and that can help you endure it longer. Whereas it might seem some people have a strong ego, but their ego is actually weak because they don't want to hear about the negative stuff.
I find that the best leaders are those who, I'm sure you're going to agree with me, the best leaders are those who are actually allow those people to have their say, not afraid to have their say, and then still do their own thing anyhow.
Yeah, it depends on how you define the best leaders. Is it the most enduring, or is it as history reflects? Because even Winston Churchill, there's a lot of people that don't believe he was that great. There's a lot of people that believe that do. It's all about what angle you look at.
Well, cometh the hour, cometh the man when it came to Winston Churchill, for two reasons. First of all, he was a failed politician before he took over the Second World War. And second of all, he did something unusual that people don't give King George VI enough credit for. He used King George VI, who really shouldn't have been on the throne because of the abdication, as his sounding board. So he knew his fragility, and he needed a mentor too. Like, his mentor was King George VI, but we always hear about how Winston Churchill won the war.
Well, and if you look at his opponent, Hitler was not using anybody to give him advice.
No, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So if you do find yourself in a position of power that's growing, your influence is growing, and you're not seeking outside advice from people that are likely to disagree or challenge your thought pattern, eventually it's all going to blow up on you.
How can you grow if you're not having people challenge you? If you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to go to another room.
Yep, and I've always found the benefit of working with mentors or coaches or just friends that have been there, done it before me, to hear my situation and to give constructive advice. And that constructive advice might not necessarily be negative, but it can help you see a new perspective.
Do you take criticism personally, or have you taught yourself not to?
Often it is personal, but it doesn't have to be received in a negative way. If you're doing something wrong and they're giving you advice, you can reflect on it and say, yeah, actually that was a blind spot that I didn't see. It's not negative. You can work past it. Because I see myself as a professional, and I know that professionals make mistakes all the time, it should be expected that you make mistakes. All Blacks make mistakes. Politicians make mistakes all the time. It's how you deal with mistakes that makes you, that their highest achievement.
We spoke in a previous episode about Brene Brown's braving, BRAVING, and G is generosity. And generosity, the way she defines it, and I think it's extra special, is that if you have a text message sent to you, always think that it's a generous thing they're trying to say. But it's so easy to read text as something negative without an emoji.
And if you can go back to Occam's razor and Hanlon's razors, those are mental models that help shape the way that you can look at the world, because Hanlon's razor is to not attribute to malice, which give you a judgement. I don't know if this is. Yes, it is. These are very powerful mental models that keep into your mind that the simplest solution is often the way to go, and also not to attribute to malice what can be attributed to stupidity or to just lackadaisical side of things. Because when people text, you do lose context, you do lose the personality of the message, and you can take a message in 2 or 3 different ways. You should always see it in the best light.
Yeah, and ever since I did braving, or subscribed to that like a disciple, every time I see a text message that riles me up, I'm like,
read it twice.
His ones that 4 or 5 times a day, I do sit there and go, he's coming from a place of generosity rather than actually trying to put the boot in.
Yeah, and a shared goal.
There is a point in every season where sports excuses change tone. Instead of talking about winning, people start talking about the workload. Instead of the scoreboard, they point to the schedule. Case in point, the Breakers, who I worked for a couple of years, did it all the time. From the outset, it still looks like effort. Inside, the game has already slowed. And that is usually the point where teams stop asking how to win and start explaining why they are tired.